Welcome to another episode of Hobby Nonsense. If only we could include more of just us singing songs. I don't know what the copyright rules are on that.
I think if it's a cover,
are we doing it a service by singing a song that is a cover of another song?
People do that all the time. Our girl T Swift used to do it.
Don't you bring up her name in vain. You know what's funny about T Swift? I just got 2 boxes.
Did she call you?
Not as much as she used to.
Is she coming on the podcast?
That is up in the air. We don't know that.
Can we ask? Is that a possibility?
So here's my thing.
What do we need to do to get T Swift on the podcast?
I'm going to put the call out right now. I have 2 boxes of American Pie. The American Pie that has her rookie.
Miss American Pie.
Okay.
Yeah?
Also, yeah. I mean, that's a song. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about other than the fact that they are both things that say American Pie. That being said,
I might have to sing this whole podcast, so you better get ready.
If we're doing that, I'm singing the Weird Al Yankovic version of that.
Have you seen him in concert?
No.
Great show.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I saw him at the Ryman, and I got one of those posters. One of those Nash. Is it Nash print? No, hash print.
Hash print?
Posters.
I don't know.
You know what a hash print is?
I don't.
It's like one of the oldest remaining like wood block making posters.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Companies, and they make all kinds of different artworks.
Oh wait, Hatch?
Hatch.
Correct. Oh, I thought you were saying hash. Okay, hatch print.
Hatch print. Yeah.
Well, these are things for us to Google in our free time.
They make posters every time someone performs at the Ryman.
The level of nonsense that we're starting this with is good. I want to step it up even further.
Yeah. What is your favorite Weird Al Yankovic song?
The American Pie. Oh, what is it? It's Anakin Guy.
Oh.
I don't know the name of it. I think it's like, it's Star Wars something. Episode 1, maybe.
Yes.
Something.
That's
like
a good one.
Yeah, I can sing that whole intro to that song.
Have you seen the AI little trailer? Like if Michael Jackson was
I've seen the Michael Jackson trailer. I can't wait to see that.
Michael Jackson was Anakin's Jedi Master.
I can't imagine so that's something.
He got him a fedora. They start dancing. It's a thing. I'll show it to you after we record the podcast. Okay. But guys, Hobby Nonsense, we're here.
We're
Jesse's
recording
feeling
now.
100%.
I'd say so. Just
Question
about.
Mark?
Yeah. Pretty. My mental game is weird today.
Ooh, what's going on?
I just don't feel as sharp. I feel a little dull. I feel
you
like
need some nootropics. Do you have some of that gum?
I took some of the gum earlier today.
Okay.
I do not chance taking more of that gum. I don't want.
Do you take like any Alpha Brain or anything like that?
I do have some Alpha Brain. I have not taken any for a while.
Maybe Alpha Brain, if you're listening, if you're watching, is it time? Come on, baby.
Well, all that being said, the American Pie product I've got, I'm going to be breaking it soon. I think in the past I've just done by packs, but that's a fun product because you're looking for Taylor Swift's rookie card in it, right? And I don't know how we got around to this right before the show. You were talking about Menudo. Yes. You were talking about like plans of like what's
not
open,
the band,
what to eat,
but the food.
Then I told you that my wife Sam has trypophobia. And
because we were talking about the menudo, the tripe into the menudo.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't know if you're being serious or you're making a JG joke.
Is a JG Wentworth joke. I am curious, now that you've thought about it, do you know what trypophobia is?
I'm thinking it's, first of all, I'm going to need you to call Sports Lady and confirm.
Here's the thing.
I'm going to need you to confirm right now.
I will call her. We do have a guest coming on in 10 minutes, and we still have other things to cover before our guest. I will call her just so you can confirm this. This is a fun trick.
Will she be able to hear me?
This is a fun trick for all of you to play on your family members. Yes, she'll be able to hear you.
This better be. Don't make a fool out of me in front of Sports Lady.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Hi, babe. I'm fine. How are you?
What are you eating right now?
Sorry, a pretzel.
Oh, okay. Well, you're on the podcast. Hobby Nonsense. Ray's here.
Why do you do this to me?
Sam, I have a very important question for you. How are you doing? First of all, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing great. Are the pretzels making you thirsty?
No, stick on task. He's got ADD as bad as anybody.
Actually, they are.
No, stick on task. We've already gone sideways too many times.
Jesse
All right, I'm
has
ready.
been spewing this nonsense, no pun intended, about you having something called trypophobia.
Trypophobia.
He
Yes.
does.
Dude, I might have the same thing.
Is that
This
freaking
is
you out right
freaking
now?
me out.
He might have it.
It's
Yep.
legit, dude.
Oh
It's
my
legit.
gosh.
I'm showing him pictures that come up under Google when you put in trypophobia. For anyone listening, if you don't know if you have it, just look up trypophobia and you'll find out really quickly if you have trypophobia.
Dude,
or
this
not.
is making me feel really weird.
There you go.
Weird. It's upsetting. Like I want to cry and throw up, and I just feel scared, and like I just feel.
I think I'm having like a hot
unsettling.
flash.
Yeah, it's very unsettling. There's a visceral, physical reaction, an emotional stirring. It's real.
Is
Thank
that
you.
person is that real?
That we'll go on to that later. Thank you,
This is
honey,
AI.
so much.
Thanks, Sam.
Yep, case closed. You got it.
All right, bye.
Support group to
Love
be
you.
announced. Goodbye.
That's what trypophobia is. It's a weird reaction to.
That does not look like what's in menu though, first of all.
The tripe does. There's some similar
I can
looks
see,
to it.
yeah,
but yeah.
dude, that's weird.
All
is
right.
that real? Is that hand real?
We are over 5 minutes in. I don't know if it's real, but it often comes up when you find the Google image search of
All right,
trypophobia.
I'm staying on track, guys. Sorry.
That all being said, we have got a guest joining today. It's actually pretty fun this week and next week because we've got two guests that I've been trying to get people to come on and talk about these things. Collectibles is what this podcast is really all about. At the end of the day, it's mainly card focused, but we love to talk about other collectible items, obviously. And today we're going to have a coin expert coming on. So if you don't know this already, coins are very popular right now as far as like collectability of coins. Just how popular, any other detail about that topic, I don't know. Do you know much about coins?
I know that my father, oddly enough, used to collect silver dollars.
Yeah. My grandfather did too. He actually gave me some. I think I still have them. Like it said like 1770 or 1976 on it. It was like a bicentennial.
Yeah. It's something, I don't know why he did, or maybe it was like the generation, our parents' generation, for some reason they collected the silver dollars. When I used to work at the beer store, I used to have a customer that every Monday would go to the bank that was across the street and get $100 worth of $2 bills.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of people doing
and then
this.
He would try to find, I guess, some that were like serialized a certain way. But all week he would come in there and purchase his beer and he would pay with $2 bills. And they were crispy.
They were crispy
Real
$2 bills.
crispy.
Did you ever set them aside for yourself? Like replace them, of course,
Sometimes.
with your own money.
Yeah.
But
And then sometimes I would get people to pay with silver certificates or red certificates, which like the $1 or the $5 had like the serial number would be red or blue.
Oh, see, these are all things. So you already know a little bit more than I do. These are all things that we're going to talk about with Jeff Starck. He is our coin guy coming on the show. He does another podcast, but looking forward to talking with him here shortly. Before that, though, we do have a few other topics we wanted to get to, some new releases and some records.
Releases.
I think the first thing I wanted to just mention was there is a new Pixar product coming out. So Topps is putting out this product because they have Pixar licensing. I don't know what to think right now because we've just had so many Disney releases that have come out back to back to back. This one is coming out as of December 2nd, or at least, excuse me, that is when the EQL drops, is on December the 2nd. It is called Pixar Gold. If you were just to go into Google, put in 2025 Pixar Gold, it'll probably come up. Funny enough, it's not called Topps Pixar Gold. It's just listed as Pixar Gold. From what I'm seeing, when I pull this up, it looks like it.
Get this off of the screen.
I still have trypophobia photos up on the screen. So from what I'm looking at in some of the pictures, it does look like a full blown Pixar heavy product. So you've got a lamp. So the Pixar lamp itself, it's called the Perfection Pixar lamp. I guess Perfection is the name of the insert. You've got Frozone. You've got Princess Ada. Here's what I'm seeing. I'm just seeing a lot of the same characters that we just had on a lot of the other Disney releases. You've got a one of one of John Ratzenberger, who did the voice of P.T. Flea and apparently many other. My concern is these are the pictures they're showing for the product. I look at these pictures, like the autograph it's an auto card of Princess Ada from A Bug's Life.
Is that
is that
a facsimile or is
no?
that,
That's a real auto. But talk about the least hyped character. I don't even know who does that voice. I'm sure
I
it's
was
somebody.
Just gonna ask you. Yeah,
I'm sure it's somebody I know. I could have easily Googled it beforehand. And this is Jesse from the future. Hello, everyone. I am in the middle of a rant about the autograph of Princess Ada. I have now, in the future, Googled who the autograph is, and that is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, a.k.a. Elaine from Seinfeld. That is actually kind of cool. I would like to walk back some of those statements that I am currently in the process of making. I do regret them based on just this one part of the product. I maintain the rest of the things that I did mention about maybe some of the marketing opportunities that were hit or miss here, but this auto is kind of cool. I want it. All right, back to the show. I'm concerned about this product. They've got one of the cards it's an all gold. It's Pixar Cup. And here's the thing: I'm no doubt going to get some of this. Cars. I will break some or sell some. I'm just hoping it comes out at a very low price. I hope this is another like Disney Wonder product. If it's anything other than that,
it looks like a chrome.
If it's anything other than that, I will say you do
Larry
have
the Cable Guy. That's pretty dope.
First off, I would have put Larry the Cable Guy probably up as far as the auto. The two autos in the pictures that they're showing in the advertisements are Princess Ada and Tow Mater. In my mind, Tow Mater is going to be the bigger sell. It does have.
That might be the chase.
It's kind of like a reverse of Google. It's a reverse of Disney Mint. Where in Disney Mint, you had like a bigger picture of the character and then a smaller version of like the real life actor. In this, it's like a bigger picture of the actor and then a smaller version of the character, at least in this one behind the voice Tow Mater card. You're representing the product with Larry the Cable Guy, the voice of Princess Ada, and John Ratzenberger. He's a sweetheart. John Ratzenberger isn't even an auto, by the way. That's just a picture of John Ratzenberger, the actor.
It's the behind the voice card,
but it's not even an auto. So it's like,
but it's a one of one.
But it's a one of one John Ratzenberger. No auto though, just the man.
Do we have a checklist for this, or is
no checklist? There's no other detail yet that I have.
What's the overall consensus?
So the details we have at this point is celebrate the epic history of Pixar with Topps Pixar Gold. You can find 8 chrome cards and 1 encased card inside every box, featuring characters from all your favorite Pixar movies and shorts. Look for special dipped in gold cards, incredible dual autographs, gold cards, plus loads more. We did mention gold cards twice, maybe, but collect the 100-card gilded Pixar base set.
So dual autographs, and I'm seeing encased cards. So is it going to be like Disney Mint?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it
like
sounds
Marvel
very
Mint
similar to that because I mean, Disney Mint is an 8 or a 10 card plus 1 encased card. This is an 8 card plus 1 encased card.
This is going to be pricey.
I think they're going to come out too high. I don't want to just badmouth and bash it because it could be a great product. I haven't seen the checklist, but I'm just seeing like the same Frozone looking picture that we had on some other Frozone cards. It may be different, but it looks very similar to what the other Disney Topps cards were. The fact that it's just John Ratzenberger, which the joke is John Ratzenberger comes up all too often with autos, and now it's like, here's a John Ratzenberger card where it's just John Ratzenberger, and it's not even with the auto. It's just like
shout out to his agent.
You're already like regretting the fact that you got another John Ratzenberger auto in your collection, and now it's like, I didn't even get the auto. I just got the John Ratzenberger
It's a
card.
one of one.
It's like the marketing is just an ongoing thing where I feel like Topps could use like just a little bit of like outside acknowledgement of like, hey, we could probably point you in maybe just a slightly different direction of like, let's not focus on maybe the Princess Ada character, the John Ratzenberger, just him. It's not to say it's not a bad card. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people who want some of these cards, especially I'd still take a one of one John Ratzenberger, even if there's no auto. I'm just not going to pay a whole lot of money for it, personally speaking. So all that being said, I hope I'm dead wrong and it's the best product and it's got the killer checklist and there's so many cooler autos and all the other stuff.
I know that we're crunched for time because our guest is fixing to join us, and I have a lot of questions. First question for you, Jesse. What do you
How dare you?
What do you think about this? Like, is this too much?
No, Ray, I just literally just said all of the things. You were not listening.
Well, I am listening.
I literally just said how I feel about it.
Do you think this
I think it's too much. I think we probably didn't need this product. If it's coming out anytime soon, we probably didn't need this product unless it is a cheap, fun rip. That is my dream. That's my hope.
Well, Disney Wonder was a cheap, fun rip, or
exactly,
at least a cheap,
and that was okay.
Rip.
That was fine. Yeah, Disney Wonder was fine because it was a cheaper product, and it did still have like cool autos and things like that were chaseable within it, and there was still some decent resale on some of the hits in there. This is hope. If it was the same thing, all for it. Absolutely.
Why do you think that they decided to focus in just on Pixar?
Because they have the licensing for it, and you got to do something to recoup the money you're paying for the fact that you're paying for that.
So
IP.
This is just like
it's still
money-driven, forced.
Not at 100%. I think the fact that there is a Piston Cup card, because gold, that is the gold dipped card. It doesn't say specifically, but it looks like it is.
What do you think that means? Card. Gold dip, like a Pokemon, like a metal card?
I think it's like an all gold card. I don't think the material is different. I think it just has a gold finish or something. Okay. But all that being said, that's a cool idea. The fact that you've got the lamp in there, that hasn't been in other products that I can remember, at least not on its own card. And then the fact that you're just putting in actors behind the voice, like an actor card, even if there's not an auto on there, just the fact that you could get like a low numbered version of that actor, there will still be some chase to it, even if there's, again, no auto. My concern is we've already been to that well many times and just recently.
I'm surprised there's anything left in the well.
And it's not like we segregated out just Disney and we never put Pixar in those products. We did. Pixar was in there. So it's like, okay, I'm just seeing a lot of duplicates already in the marketing material that's supposed to sell, and you typically want to lead best foot forward some of your bigger hits. So that's again, these are just some comments coming from a spectator who's hoping
I agree
to still maintain my great Topps relationship and continue to break the product, because I will, and I'm sure there's going to be other positives, but this was just as the initial, like, hey, this is coming out, come check it out, build the hype. This was not the hype builder I was hoping for. So we do have our guests. We are going to go ahead and jump over there. Let's get Jeff Starck on here. So we've got Jeff Starck with us. Jeff is marketing analyst at NumisMaster, which is a pricing. They do a lot in the coin world. We're going to find out more from Jeff. But he also hosts a podcast, a coin collecting pod. Welcome to the show, Jeff. Thank you so much for jumping on here with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
I'm going to be honest. So one of our listeners who listens to you as well reached out and said how they go to you for what's going on in the coin world, the collectability of coins. And I guess I am coming from a standpoint of, and this is I'm speaking a little bit for both of us actually, but our grandparents gave us like silver dollar coins. I have some of them in like a box somewhere in my basement, and I know nothing after that about coins other than like, I guess a wheat penny is something like people want wheat pennies and Indian head,
Buffalo nickel.
Yeah. It's like that's like the extent of my knowledge. And I think for a lot of our listeners who are big card collectors. So we wanted to have you on to kind of like help us to navigate from maybe a high level point of view of what is going on in the coin world right now, and maybe things that we can look after, some tips or tricks to collecting all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, glad to do that. You hit upon something there when you talked about silver dollars and all that stuff, and you had a family member giving those items to you, and that's really the typical entry point for the coin collector for years, at least 100 years now in the U.S. Generally, it's somebody that cares about them. That's whether it's an uncle or a father, or, and it often is male, a very male-dominated hobby. But there are, thankfully, lots of space and active women in it. But the other thing is back in the 30s and 40s, there was a lot of marketing to get people involved to look in their change for rare finds. There was a gentleman out of Texas, B. Max Mel, who ran advertisements everywhere. And it was the Depression in the 30s. People wanted to make a quick cent or whatever. And so there was a lot of activity around that. And then you had the development of the Whitman folders. These are those blue cardboard folders with the little holes that you push the coin into. So, people would find stuff in their change. They'd have somebody, especially, it's a hobby that often you get started when you're young. Maybe you get those blue Whitman folder boards, things. You got that for Christmas or a birthday gift. And it was a way to get introduced, certainly when, a cent was a cent, and now, we look. I just posted a thing with Andy Rooney from 1986 where he did this little experiment with the cent coin and leaving it on at various places in New York City, and people wouldn't pick it up. So that was almost 40 years ago, right? So the cent has been, I don't want to say worthless, but it has not had the place in commerce that it did, say, in 100 years ago, 80 years ago, when you could actually buy penny candy, when you could use the cent.
You could actually have some value to that. Yeah, so that's kind of my thinking too, is like, what are your thoughts on the fact that they're getting rid of the penny? Because ultimately, I was telling, was it you, Ray, or was it someone else, where I was like, if I found a penny, like there's not a world where it's worth me bending over. Like, it's like, I don't care enough about it. Like, if I found maybe 100 pennies, I would think to myself, oh, I don't want that dollar's worth of pennies, because then I have to carry 100 little metal discs in my pocket. It's like, I am kind of glad we're getting rid of it, but I am curious, as a coin collector, do you have any personal feelings towards that?
Well, it's always worth it to pick up the cent coin because it gives you exercise. And I know
that's fair.
Certainly a lot of folks in the coin space, myself included, could use the exercise. That's why I love taking the dog out for his walk, because it gets me moving after sitting at a desk all day. But, this is not anything we haven't done before. It's just been since 1857 that we really did this. That was when the half cent was withdrawn from circulation or stopped being made. And there was a switch to the small size cent that we know of today. So it's natural for coinage denominations to fall out of favor when, inflation and the economy renders them moot. What's different is here in the U.S. versus, say, Canada or the U.K. or Great Britain or the Eurozone or Australia or some of these others, is the absence of a wide circulating $1 and $2 coin, or in the case of the U.K., £1. In the case of the euro, the €1 and €2, and U.K. has a £2 as well. So it's it's not lamentable, but it's sad to see it go. But it's time. It's long past time. The U.S. Mint did studies in the 1970s to create an aluminum cent because the cent was costing too much to make. They eventually landed on the solution of reducing the amount of copper and using copper to plate zinc. And that kept the cost down for a while. But it's been 10 or 15, 20 years since that it's cost more to make the cent than its face value. So that's negative seigniorage, which is a in the weeds term. But basically, it's costing money to make the money, and it doesn't make sense.
This guy.
Pun intended. So then tell me this. If we're getting rid of the penny, and there's still going to be collectors, I'm sure, going on for as long as mankind is out there for pennies or other forms of cash, what is it that makes a penny desirable? Like, what should I be looking out for if I were to, say, start bending over for pennies in the street?
There hasn't been anything meaningfully collectible in the 1 cent denomination since 2009, and that's when there were 4 different reverse designs for Abraham Lincoln, bicentennial, his various journey from birth in Kentucky to Indiana, Illinois, and then to Washington, D.C. as president. But even those, you're not going to find them in circulation generally in uncirculated condition. you do have to go back to those wheat cents to where you really find something valuable, and value is, a manner of speaking, in that most common wheat cents are 3 to 5 cents. The wheat cent was issued from 1909 to 1958. Anything 1940 and newer, other than those steel cents of 1943, which resulted from the World War II effort and saving copper for munitions, they're very common. Some of the earlier ones can be better. Especially when you're in the teens and 20s, they retail out, 10 to 20, 30 cents a coin when you buy them in a roll or a bag of 100. So you're not really going to find much value in the wheat cent or any other cents, other than it's free money, it's exercise. Thankfully, my bank and credit union, they have a machine you can dump the coins in, and you take it and put the amount in your bank account, and they don't charge you. So, you really have to get to the earlier stuff, the rarer stuff, if you're talking about something that's, oh gosh, if I find this, I could buy a cup of coffee with it sort of money.
Well, let's talk about that, because I want you to sell me on why I want to collect coins. Because it's like why did you collect? Why did you start collecting?
As I noted, many people get into the hobby because of a family member. In this case, it was my father. And even my older sister and he would sit at the kitchen table in the evening some nights and sort bags of wheat cents that they had got from the now late James Verge Marshall of Wymore, Nebraska. He was the penny merchant, and he died 10 or 15 years ago. He sold his business before that, and the business is no longer. But they made their living, their business was predominantly in cent coins. The thing that is one of the things I can use as a reason to collect is also a reason not to collect. It's kind of like the junk wax era. They're ubiquitous, right? They made so much of that stuff. I was a sports card collector in the 80s and 90s. Couldn't wait to find that 89 Griffey Jr. Upper Deck. So wheat cents and modern cents are ubiquitous. They've made billions of them, with a B, multiple billions. But that also makes them easy to find. And other than, a handful of dates from 1909 to now and mint mark combinations, you can put together a nice looking set for a very affordable price. It's a great starter kit for a younger collector. And for somebody, I think about our age, 'cause I'm 46, we actually use them in circulation somewhat. So there's that slight nostalgia factor. I mean, I remember when Ben Franklin was around in the store, not the man,
Yeah.
and you could go buy penny candy, literally penny candy, and that's sort of the I hate to be the when I was a boy, but it does remind me of that era.
Now, is it the fact that you collect coins because it's just fun and nostalgic and there's some like enjoyment to it, or is there like a monetary value to go along with this? Because I have to assume are you familiar with Whatnot? It's a site that it's basically the modern day QVC. There's just people on there live selling items and coins, that eBay Live. I'm sure there's a number of other platforms that are doing it where people are going on live selling coins, not just pennies, but I'm sure all manner of denominations of funds. They're selling them and there are people buying them. So it makes me think, oh, well, there must be a market. People are making money off of this somehow. Is it very lucrative of a collectible hobby, or is this more of like hey, you're not going to like change your life with your collection. This is more to, give yourself some meaning and your off time.
So for a long time, I've said that coin collecting is the only hobby where you can go broke and still have money. Huh. And it's funny, it's a quip, whatever, but it's absolutely true. You go play golf, you may have memories, you had a boys trip or whatever, but that money, those greens fees, all the cart, that's gone. The money you spend on the golf clubs and the travel there, it's there's you're getting use out of the clubs, but that goes away, right? But with coins, you do have a store of value with some money. But before the mid 1960s, the U.S. dime, 10-cent coin, quarter, and half dollar all were made of 90% silver, and those dollar coins you mentioned as well, which were, they tailed off in the 30s with the Depression, late 20s, Peace dollar, before that Morgan dollar, and that metal has an inherent value, and it's kind of like the price at the gas station. You drive by and, the next day it's a different price. Well, the silver and gold fluctuate with the market. It changes constantly. I can go to kitco.com and see up to the minute pricing and see that, oh gosh, today silver went down 56 cents an ounce. Well, that's not much when silver is $50 an ounce. But I remember when silver was $3 an ounce, $4 an ounce. Gold is up above $4,000. I mean, I don't know about you, but $4,000 seems like, there's some value there. You're not going to find that in circulation, right? So there's definitely value. You can talk to a bunch of people like Jeff Garrett, like, a dozen folks in the hobby, hundreds of folks in the hobby who make their living doing this. So there is absolute value. I'm one who's happened to been able to do this for a living. I started out as an intern at Coin World, a weekly magazine. That was summer of 2003, started full-time in 2004, and I left there at the end of last year to go to NumisMaster.com. So it's taken me all over the world. So ask people who are in it in a big way, and it does have meaning. It does. It has changed your life, just like, finding a community in sports cards, or, guys who set up at car shows. It's all about the people at the end of the day. The object is just the talisman by which it connects you.
What would you say if I am in it and I'm wanting to get involved? And sometimes it's like they have to find like that first, big coin, or in my world, it's like I have to find that first big card, which either I wanted personally or I found at a garage sale and it was like sold for 20 cents and it was worth 150 or something like that. What is it what's out there that I could actually see or find in circulation that would hold some kind of value or collectability?
So the U.S. has had an enormous amount of coinage design change since 1999. That was the state quarter program, which segued to a 1-year program for all the territories and all that, which segued into a program honoring national parks and national lands. Those are and now there's the American Women's Quarters. Those aren't wholly rare and valuable, but that is a low-hanging fruit, right? As far as, finding your Shohei one of one, you have to really become knowledgeable in coins to then go to that coin show and recognize that the dealer has something that they don't know they have. We call it cherry picking. I'm sure the term is probably used in a sports card context or another hobby. A lot of that comes down to the guys who know, or folks who know, that this coin has a different die marker than the regular series, and so it's worth more. One of those examples comes from the launch of the Sacagawea dollar in 2000. There was a promotion with General Mills, which makes Cheerios, that every box of Cheerios had a coin in it. It either had a 2000 Lincoln cent, 2000 dated Lincoln cent, or 2000 dated Sacagawea dollar. Well, it turns out several years later, and they gave away $5,000, I think it was, or 10,000. I think it was 5,000. But every 100 boxes won the dollar, and every other box got the cent. Well, it turns out we in the hobby found out like 5-6 years later that the coins that were used for that promotion were struck with a different die. And the way to tell is looking at the tail feathers, and you can Google it for you really need the pictures to see it and understand it. A lot of people find or think they've found one of those. And, a lot of coin shops have to be the bearer of bad news, but people have found them. And it's very uncommon, but it's still possible. It's in the realm of possibility. Another thing, when I was at Coin World, it seemed every year we had one or two stories about somebody discovering a new die marriage. That is to say, the pairing of one die with another, one's for the obverse or the heads, and the other's for the reverse, the tails. And some coins you can go trace. Oh gosh, we know based on the remaining supply in existence that there were 37 different pairs of dies that struck these. Well, if you're talking about a coin from the 1850s, we've got 170 plus years of scholarship around that. Occasionally, though, we still learn something new. We find something new. There are people finding hoards like the Kentucky gold hoard of a few years ago, the California gold hoard about 8 years ago. There are things out there, but it ultimately comes to knowledge. And whether that's, I don't know if Tough Stuff's around. Gosh, I read it as a kid. But you got to pick up your Tough Stuff, your Beckett, or whatever, and know the market and know, oh gosh, this is a Frank Thomas, no black or black, border or whatever, or there's the Billy Ripken card. Won't say the FF, but you have to have that knowledge. But once you have that knowledge, especially if you specialize, then, you can walk into a floor at any coin show and find something that you can make money on. Are you going to be able to make a living? That's a different story. That takes more, marketing, business sense and all that. But from a sheer, I spent $10 and it's worth 20, with that knowledge, you can do it. Anyone can do it.
So tell me, I have yet to hear like an actual price. Tell me like a price. What are we talking about for if I were to stumble upon something that's very rare, and I assume maybe I could find it in circulation, maybe not. But could you tell me, like, say those dollars in the cereal boxes? If I found one of those, what would that go for?
If they're going to get graded by a third-party grading service and encapsulated in plastic, just like they do that with sports cars, PSA and the rest, they've gone for like $5,000 to $10,000 and more, depending on the condition.
Wow.
There aren't that many of them. 5,000 coins for our U.S. series is very low. Now, not every collector of U.S. coins collects Sacagawea dollars, but the story around it makes it interesting enough that it's like the elevator speech. It's something that you can tell somebody on the elevator while you're riding the elevator between floors, and they should be able to get it. They should be able to understand. And when you can connect like that in whatever field you're in, there's a better chance that people are going to be interested. It's like the inverted Jenny stamp. People might not be stamp collectors, but they've heard of the inverted Jenny.
This card being maybe $5,000 or more, or not card, excuse me. This coin being $5,000 or more. That's a exciting thing to like. Oh, I found one of these coins. What else is out there that it would actually be something that someone could find that would hold maybe the highest value that you know of? Like, what is out there that people are still going out to the banks and then asking for a roll of quarters, or if you have any, half dollars I can sift through and try and find this? Like, what are these grandpas going out there and actually looking for? Because when I worked at Bank of America for a time when I got out of school, I was like a part-time teller at first, and I would people would come in and ask, hey, can I get a roll of whatever? And they just wanted to go sifting through looking for something of value. But I want to know, like, what kind of value and what are they looking for?
So at the very, very low end, people will go and do what's called coin roll hunting, CRH, coin roll hunting. And they'll go to the banks and ask for rolls of $50 because in 1964, they were 90% silver. Right now, that's about $17, $16, give or take. And from 65 to 70, they're 40% silver, which is, about $8 a piece. $7 to $8 a piece. That's at the low end. But there are people that, there's a friend of mine in a local coin club who's done this for years, and he can point to the 873 or however many silver coins that he's found roll hunting. Now, he'll admit that, he spent plenty of time and gas to do that, but it's fun, right? So, but from a really uber financial windfall standpoint. I just saw a dealer posted today in a group I'm in, a 1969 double die obverse Lincoln cent. So that's your Lincoln cent. And it's a very, a reasonably nice grade. One of the dealers was like, it's probably a mint state 62. Coins are weird. They're on a 70 scale. Anything 60 to 70 is uncirculated. Anything below that are circulated grades. But this is an uncirculated coin. Only a very few were made, but some slipped out into circulation. And a reasonable estimate in the market, the dealer said, was like $20,000 to $30,000. Nicer ones sold for more. Wow. Which, makes sense, understandable. If you've got a perfect 10, perfectly centered, corners are sharp, all that, that's going to be better than a 8.5 or whatever. So that's natural. The odds that you're going to find it are way low. The odds of me dating Sydney Sweeney are higher than me finding a 1969 double die obverse. Now, I can keep looking for the coin. I'm engaged, so I'm not going to be looking for Sydney Sweeney, but that drives home the point that, it's out there. But what's not out there are all these coins that match the headlines that I've seen on TikTok and in other social media places and news articles about this quarter will earn you $12 million. BS. There's no U.S. quarter that has ever sold for anything approaching that price. I think $3 or $4 million maybe for one of the early ones, and that might be off. There are some special rarities like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel that's several million, 2.5 to 5 to 7 million, depending on condition, depending on provenance. There's 5 of them known, and each one has a little different story about which collectors had it, how it was recovered, and all that stuff, and that does affect value. There's no U.S. quarter worth $12 million or $7 million. Maybe eventually, but the most expensive coin ever sold is the 1933 gold $20 double eagle, and that was like $18.9 million. And there's only one of those that's legal to own. The U.S. Mint, the U.S. government has some in their control, the Smithsonian and that sort of thing, but they're not letting them out, even though they would sure make a dent or kind of a dent, a grain of sand in the national debt. But sure, all of a sudden, if there's 10 of those out there, well, that might still be $70 million if you deflate the market. But there's one. And, you're not going to find that. But I saw a story about this $20, find this $20 coin in circulation and you'll be rich. And it's like, no, they were never issued for circulation generally. They often traded between banks in that 1932-33 period, right before the Great Depression, right before FDR pulled the coins, gold out of circulation. The earlier ones absolutely did circulate. But when was the last time you saw a $20 coin in your change? You probably never have.
Yeah, never. Right. Well, and so my thinking is, why am I hearing so much about coin collecting? Do you think it's like overhyped right now as far as just like another way for people to spend their money who are bored and don't want to save it or do something else with it?
So I think like a lot of collectibles, coin collecting had a boom in the COVID years, 2020, 2021. There's some natural tail off, but there's still many folks who are in it and maybe they've shifted their approach. It's also not lost on me that in the 1930s, as I mentioned earlier, there was a lot of interest in coin collecting because of the potential monetary rewards. And, regardless of where you stand politically, it's tough out there for everyone. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not saying we're in a depression. That's, there's a lot of chaos and bad things happening, but anytime people are uneasy about the economy, we see an influx of coins and jewelry into coin shops and to be turned go into the bank because maybe that, they're sitting on that silver dollar that they got from grandma and grandpa or whatever. And grandma and grandpa are long dead, but they got 10 of them for 10 years and they could really use that $350.
Sure.
So there is a lot of talk about it. and naturally the elimination of the cent in circulation gets more people talking about it and thinking and asking, oh, should I save this? My aunt texted me, one of my aunts, and said, should I save these? And I was like, no, they made like 100 billion of them or whatever. They're not going to be all of a sudden rare. Now, some people have been buying the pre-1982 cents from 1959 to 82 that are copper because they know the copper in them is worth much more than the face value. The copper is worth about 3 cents a coin. And there's people that buy them for like 2 cents. One guy, I haven't seen it, but he's bought from me and others, and he's paying 2 cents each. And he says he got a garage full of them.
Oh, wow.
And he's just waiting for the moment that they're legal to melt.
I forgot. So you can't deface legal tender. So you're not allowed to melt them. Then what are the people who are buying them doing with them?
They're just sitting on them. They're also sitting on 5 cent coins, nickels, because the 5 cent coin is also, like the cent, cost a lot more than face value to produce. In fact, there was like 10 years ago or something, there was a big story, I think, in the Wall Street Journal about some millionaire who was buying these up in speculation that eventually it would be legal to melt. Good luck on the nickel front, because nickel is such a hard metal and needs high temperatures. You're going to use all that money, the profit, to get the fire up high enough, unless you're a proper refinery. Copper is easier. It's a much lower melting point. Some people, I'm sure, have done little makeshift melting activities at their home. There's people that cast in metal and silver and copper and make artistic type stuff. It is illegal. It was ensconced in legislation about 17 years ago, when the cost was really high around 2008, 2009. It's still okay to like go to the souvenir places, like you go to Seattle Space Needle and you put the penny in the machine and you roll it and all that. That's fine. You're not that is allowed to be used, and people have taken different artistic punches or things, and they hammer the coin. In fact, I've seen the My Lucky Penny, or there's one in 2020 or 2016, I think it was, that was people used for advertising pieces for political. It wasn't endorsed by the campaign, but this was just collectors doing it. There's also a one out there that you might often see with the famous coincidences between Lincoln and Kennedy, and how this person was shot by the Treasury Secretary was Kennedy and his secretary was Lincoln, and all that. It's those are real novelties. That's okay, but the actual melting of them, illegal. I see that probably could change if I've heard, I have not confirmed this, but a good knowledgeable source says that the Federal Reserve has been instructed to actually pull any cent coins back as they're turned in. Usually the coins are, they're the Brinks or whatever truck picks it up from the bank, and they take it to the reserve and they sort them and roll them and send them back out to other banks where they're needed. Unofficially, I'm hearing that the Fed is just pulling all that. And so we're going to see the withdrawal of the cent on a much quicker timeline than maybe some collectors anticipated. But again, there's blank tons of them out there. It's not going to happen for months.
Okay, so
that's crazy.
The fact that Topps Now is a version of Topps where they basically you don't have to wait for a product to be developed. They just print a card on demand, and they've made a U.S. penny card to commemorate the fact that we're no longer going to be minting the penny. And there's a couple like variations, but one of them, if you got the one of one, there is a 17. Oh, what's the year on it? I think 1793.
93.
Yeah, 1793. It's an Indian head penny. It looks like
flowing hair, Liberty starred reverse.
There we go. Never mind, not Indian head. Thank you very much. The flowing hair. Yes, that's the one. What value does a coin like that have?
I didn't study it to evaluate the grade.
Okay.
But some of those some of those cents in the higher grades are, 50, 100,000, 200,000. There's a small number of famous ones called the strawberry cent, and that relates to the leaves on the back that are, $500,000, $1 million, because there's only a handful. This is not that, but you can reasonably assume that any nice flowing hair is in the 20, 30, 40,000 range and higher. I don't think the example that they're selling is anywhere near uncirculated. It probably was what we call a very fine 20, maybe a little higher than that. So, here in the US, we use what's called, at least collectors call, the Red Book, also known as a guidebook of United States coins. The 2026 book that I'm holding here is the 79th edition. Now, the Red Book is great for the casual collector, would-be collector, because it's printed once a year. It is generally high retail. You can often find stuff lower than that. But okay, I think it is a wreath reverse, not the chain reverse. The wreath reverse is much more affordable. There's 3 different cents that were made in 1793, the first year the cent was made. If it were to be the chain reverse, you're talking 26,500.
Wow!
So it's not a cheap coin. You can find the later Liberty cap one. That was the third one, where Liberty is wearing a cap of freedom, the Phrygian cap, I think is what it's called. It's a Roman cap that the people that were enslaved, when they were freed, they would wear the cap to signify their freedom, and that's quote unquote only $1,700 in very fine 20. So,
wow.
I'm guessing for this enterprise, it's probably that $11,000 one, but could be the 26.5. In either event, it's not cheap.
Well, I mean, and the fact is, it's nice when cards are putting in intrinsic value into these. Intrinsic may not be the right word, but when there's diamonds in a card, like no matter what, that player could, bomb out. No one cares about him anymore. But at the end of the day, you could take the diamonds out and get
Wander
a few bucks.
Franco.
Yeah. Thank you very much. But in a case like this, I would be shocked if this penny is worth 11 grand. I mean, not to say that you're wrong. I'm just saying maybe this one is like a very low quality or something like that. I will say, looking at it, it looks like it's been around the block. It looks like it's been used several times in the photo that they post, in my eyes, but I'm not an expert. But I would be kind of shocked to hear that, someone is going to win a card that will literally have a value of at least $11,000, if not more. In most cases, probably be more, because it's a one of one, and other people will want it for the collectability of it. So, but yeah, that's kind of cool though to think about.
But this is not the first time of a mashup between numismatics and card collecting. There's an outfit out of Texas, out of Houston, the Celebrity Mint. For the last couple of years, they've done coins they're kind of like the Funko Pop looking designs of athletes, but they're actual coins and they're limited editions. And I think they've had. So a third-party grading service like PCGS, NGC, ICG, Annex, all that, it's just like your PSA and I guess CCG, and it puts the object in a plastic and it puts a label in there that gives the assigns the grade and explains what the object is. Well, for many years now, back to 2014 when the U.S. Mint came out with baseball coins, some people have had signatures on those labels. They had Cal Ripken and Nolan Ryan and other, Ozzie Smith and other Hall of Famers signatures on the label to sell with the coin. They've done that with these newer coins. There was an Albert Pujols one, Mike Tyson, many of the big names in pick a sport, basketball, football, baseball, whatever. And there's been numerous coins before that, even like I say, the 2014 baseball coins from the U.S. Mint for the 75th anniversary of the Baseball Hall of Fame. There's always been commemoration or intermixing of the intersection of sports and numismatics.
So in these metal or these other coins that you're talking about that are more commemorative, are they all still technically legal tender?
Oh yeah, I mean there's in 2014 there's the $half, and they made all the coins in both proof or uncirculated versions, so you could get the $half, the silver dollar, and the gold $5 coin. So you could get 6 different versions, right? They just have there's 3 coins and 2 different versions of each. So you could get 6 coins. Those are legal tender, but you're not going to spend $500 on a $5 gold piece at the time and take it to the gas station and turn it in for $5.
Sure.
A lot of the other collectible stuff like the Celebrity Mint and others, those are legal tender for other countries. They're not legal tender American coins, but the U.S. Mint did in 1992 make an Olympic silver dollar and $half. The silver dollar looks curiously like the 1991 Fleer coin card for Nolan Ryan. I mean, you set them side by side and you say that's the same dang design. And I mean, you look at the coin, and if you're of a certain age and you grew up as a Nolan Ryan fan, and you look at the coin and go, "Oh, that's Nolan Ryan."
Yeah. So have you heard of a company called Agoro?
Oh yeah, they're out of New Zealand. They used to be New Zealand Mint.
Honestly, I've talked to one of the guys who's now, I don't know if he was one of the founders of it, but I believe he now works for them. I've run into him at a number of card shows, but he has gotten in with them and he's sent me over some information that I found more interesting. And it was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk more about coins, because they are like I guess they are combining popular IPs like Marvel and Star Wars and all these other things and printing them onto actual coins, or the coins are actually getting made with these logos on there. And it is actually legal tender in, I guess, certain countries, wherever the coins are maybe initially getting made, or I'm not exactly sure how that works, but you could technically take that coin and go spend money on it somewhere. My thinking though is if you're involving IPs of Star Wars and Disney or wherever else you're going with it, the collectability will be there. If there's coin collectors already, you've already got them. Is that going to be is that people doing that path? Is that something you see growing more in the future?
It has certainly grown over the last 15 years. New Zealand Mint 10 years ago or more did a project to put Muhammad Ali on a silver coin, and the packaging for it was a boxing glove. And, if you wanted to make a coin for pick a thing, Dora the Explorer, you go to the mint that makes them, and they coordinate with the tiny island nation, whether that's Niue or, some of these other far-flung places that most people have never heard of and will never visit, Palau and Cook Islands and all. There's so many that are in that space that license the use of the legal tender status to a company to make a coin. There's Harry Potter coins. There's you name it. There's on a coin. You'd reach. There's a broker. There's somebody that coordinates or liaisons for the license, and then you have to also get permission to use. Depending on where it is, oftentimes the coin will show the current reigning monarch of the British Commonwealth, which right now is King Charles III, and frankly, he's unpopular. So many places will put a coat of arms, like Fiji's coat of arms or whatever, because they don't want the king on there. The queen, people loved her. That was fine. This has been very popular. But it's not just these private entities like Agoro. The Royal Canadian Mint has honored Superman with half a dozen or a dozen coins. Mm-hmm. And you just rattle down the list. There's a lot of the big mints have done this.
So if they're doing this, obviously there's value because it's like a 1 ounce. Maybe in some cases you could open it up, because I know how they're doing blind boxes in some cases where it's like, oh, you're wanting a gold one, but maybe you get a silver or a bronze, and obviously the value's not as much, but they would still inherently always have the value of whatever the metal's worth. But do you foresee that to go beyond, I guess, just the value of metal and be more valuable because you've got Superman or some Marvel character on there?
For the right collector, absolutely, because if you're a DC guy or a Marvel guy, there's something out there for you in coins. The coins that we sense, don't know this 100%, but we sense a lot of that themed stuff, licensed stuff, whether it's the Harry Potter or, the Royal Mint has done all sorts of famous musicians, the Beatles and the Who, and, whatever that is, AC/DC coins out of Australia. Somebody who's buying that is often, but not always, going to give that as a gift. They have somebody in their sphere that is a really big fan of whatever, or it's that person who collects that already, and it's like, oh, that's different. Yeah. But it is a harder sell to sell a coin to a comic person or a card person than obviously to sell to a coin person. But the giftable area is that they're hoping to tap into that. They're also, oftentimes have very low mintages. I stumbled in my local coin shop to 3 or 4 silver 1-ounce coins that I think it was celebrates Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh yeah.
They only made 200 of each of these.
Oh wow.
So I went in the shop, and silver at the time was like $35, and I got it for 37 each. And I came home and looked them up and was like, oh, those are worth like $75 a pop. But you got to have 200 people that want Yu-Gi-Oh coins. Sure. And they got to know they exist. Yeah. So exactly. It is a very hard market to penetrate, but there's such a wide distribution network across the globe with various companies that are selling to their clients that they can parcel it out, 50 to the US, 20 to, 10 to Canada, 50 to Europe, 50 to Asia, whatever. But that doesn't get the reach that something else does, say, with 10,000 or 100,000.
Jeff, where do I go if if I'm a garage sale hunter, I'm going out there trying to find a good deal if I'm not looking for something specific. So where do I go to find out if I even found a good deal? What resources are there for me to know, hey, this is what you want to be looking out for if you're chasing some high-end coin?
Sure. Well, one of the great things, though, about coins is if you bought a silver coin 5 years ago, right now you've made money. You made a decent amount of money. Depending on when you bought it, obviously you can't go back to the silver high in 2011 or 1979, 1980, but pick a moment in time just about anywhere on the timeline of anyone who's alive now has been alive. And if you bought that coin then, odds are, especially if it was silver or gold, you're happy because you've made significant returns. Coins are not an investment, but they can be investment vehicles in the sense that gold and silver, gold especially, is a hedge against inflation. As it turns out, there's been a lot of there's profit to have been made and has been made over the years. Whether it will go up or down from here, no honest broker is going to say with certainty. There are certainly many economic indicators that suggest that, that silver's only going up because its use in electric, like solar panels and things like that. So as far as where do you find something that's like, how do you know if you got a good deal, that sort of thing? There are a lot of books out there. Like I mentioned, the Red Book when it comes to U.S. coins. It's not the only place. Certainly my employer, if I can please drop a shameless plug, we publish Numismatic News, World Coin News, Banknote Reporter, and all of those have various amounts of pricing in there, especially Numismatic News and Banknote Reporter. The World Coin pricing and all that other stuff is available at NumisMaster.com. And I'm a small part of that, but I work on that day in and day out. And there are also the grading services often have price guides available that anyone can access. My former employer, Coin World, they do pricing for U.S. coins and paper money. The grading, there are a lot of resources out there. But stick with one of those, the brands that have been around forever. All those stories, on the videos on TikTok and the clickbait stuff. That's BS.
Okay.
And they're trying to get your attention now. They don't have anything invested in you coming back.
Gotcha. Okay. So one thing we never really talked about in any of this was like actual physical paper money, not coins. Do you know much about that? Is that a totally different side of this hobby?
It absolutely is. And I do know enough to be dangerous. There's a lot of cool world banknotes out there, paper money. There's actually a lot of banknotes in the world that are polymer, which is a plastic. And that started in 1988 with Australia. And I don't know if you have listeners in Canada, but they encounter that all the time. Their banknotes. That's fun. Some people just collect the polymer notes. When it comes to U.S. notes, the main thing that one should know is that starting with the Series 1929 notes, the size of the banknotes was shrunk about 40%. Before that, we had much bigger notes. They're often or sometimes called horse blankets just because of their size. They necessitated, different wallets, different, you had to carry them in a different way than we do now. Of course, who carries paper money these days? Everyone just uses their card, right? But
sure.
The design uniformity that we've kind of experienced, certainly we've seen, if you picked up a $1 note from 50 years ago and set it next to one that was printed last year, it looks the same. Now, there's been some changes in the designs of the 5 and the 10 and the 20, but the same people are on them. But there are earlier banknotes, those bigger notes, that have Native Americans on them. They have George and Martha Washington. They have some great vignettes of electricity and various goddesses and gods, and there's all sorts of stuff out there. A fun one is, if you go, I've been to some of the coin shows where the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, that's who prints our money. It's not minted, it's not struck, it's printed. And they have a display, what they call the $1 billion display, and they have a bunch of $100,000 notes from back in the 30s and before. Well, nobody who has $100,000 note. Yeah. These were used between banks. Banks transferred them. Woodrow Wilson is on it. It's a great trivia question if you want to stump, somebody what's the highest denomination U.S. banknote and who's on it. There is a whole other world of that, and a lot to explore. Sometimes you can find some earlier banknotes, like I found Series 1935, Series 29, Series 1950. Also, don't confuse the series date on the note as the date the note or the year the note was printed. You actually have to get down into some granular details based on the serial number, but collectors do just refer to it as a series. It's not the date. It's not analogous. It's not like the date on a coin, but it is a starting point, at least, to understand some of the world of paper money, especially in a U.S. sense. There's a lot of great designs out there that circulated before the dead white guys that proliferate, have since almost 20 years, almost 100 years.
I think I have exhausted my list of questions. Do you have? You said
I just have one question for you, Jeff, and this will be just we've learned so much, but for someone like myself and Jesse, that we go over to Grandma's house and we're digging through her couch cushion. What are 3 coins that we could possibly find in these couch cushions that are worth more than their face value? They may not be worth a lot, but something that maybe can get our juices flowing and get into the coin collecting universe that you know so much about.
Sure. It all comes down to that 1964 and earlier coinage. Look for that Roosevelt dime, the Washington quarter, and the Kennedy $50. Or before Kennedy, Ben Franklin was on the $50. There are some other designs before that. My grandparents are dead, but they had those kind of coins. Those are the coins they used when they were growing up and as a moderate to young to moderate adult.
What's a value of a Ben Franklin $50?
So all of those coins that I referenced generally generally are traded based on the metal value. And right now, if I wanted to go to a local coin shop, I'm probably going to pay 17 times face for whatever the denomination is. Well, 50 cents, 17 times 50 cents is $8.50. So that's about what I might pay for a common circulated one. You get a nicer looking one. Maybe it was from a proof set. Maybe it's, somebody got it and put it away. Then you start talking about incremental, increase in worth. Most of them are going to be $15 or less. Really, that's just how it is. There are a couple rarities in there. I can't remember which mint mark and dates combo is the better one. There's generally every series has one that's better, but like the Kennedy half, they're 850. It's 33 times face, so a $50 would be 17. I messed that all up.
Oh, okay. That's actually
17.50.
Yeah.
Hey, it's more, so it's okay to mess up on a good mistake.
So yeah, it's about 16.50 a half.
I think at this point, this is one of those things where it's like, this is like a good introduction, not only for myself, but our listeners as well, to the world of coin collecting. I think we will go based on demand after guys listen to this episode, guys and gals, of where to go from here. If we need to continue down the path of coin collecting and talk more about different aspects of it, I would love to be able to pick your brain again, Jeff. But thank you so much for coming on here and giving us your time and wealth of information. You said you are a podcast host of the Coin Collecting Podcast. Is that the full name of it?
Yes.
Okay, so Coin Collecting Podcast. What else? Anything else you'd like to plug?
Well, like I said, NumisMaster.com. You can get U.S. and world coin and paper money pricing. Thanks for having me. Hopefully, it wasn't too far in the weeds. It's how people who are passionate about what they do can veer off into the granular stuff, but I try to give it a little more broad-based approach and talk about some of the more interesting themes. Hopefully that worked. If not, well, it's only an hour of your life.
No. Don't. You did great, Jeff, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you again. And we look forward to hopefully talking with you in the future. So that's the world of coin collecting. I am of the opinion.
The universe.
There's a lot of detail, but I don't fault him for it, because we were going into a lot of just questions of where to go, what to collect. And I know that's pretty general. So it's like, you got to start diving in somewhere. My thinking, though, is coin collecting is not the same as some of the other, so you guys have not heard this yet. We will have a guest next week on next week's episode of Lego collecting. And I feel like that has got a lot more parallels to the card collecting world, what a lot of us are used for. And it's a lot of fun too, because we talk there was a lot of stories of, things that are containing high value that you could maybe even find at a garage sale. But then there was also aspects of like the growing popularity of it. And I feel like the Lego collecting world, the card collecting world, those are probably more in line, while I feel like the coin collecting world feels more like stamp collecting to me. Like, it feels like okay, I could collect that, but there's no like real fun behind it, right? Like for me personally, I don't know if coin collecting is my path, while I will still continue to be interested in it and want to talk more about it.
It's not your jam.
Yeah, I don't think so. What are your thoughts?
I can get deep in the weeds of collecting pretty much anything.
Yeah.
But I can see your point to where it's not fun for you. But can I ask you a question? What are the things that you collect currently? Like, what makes them fun for you?
Well, to me, it either needs to be nostalgic or there needs to be some kind of like upside potential.
Upside potential, like
something has value.
Okay.
Like, as far as like, I found something that I don't really care as much about, but I got it for really cheap, and it turns out I could sell it for a good deal of money, or maybe just multiple X's of what I bought it for.
Not like buying, like having a garage full of pennies, knowing that I can make 3 cents on 1 my cent.
Exactly.
It's not. It's like, why are we doing this?
It's not as sexy of a story to tell, right?
Yes.
Like, if I think like the card world or the coin world might need like new marketing. And I think that whole Agoro thing that I mentioned, like those guys have reached out to me a few times about like talking more, and I feel bad because I've yet to actually reach back out to them because they're very nice. And
those are the New Zealand mint guys?
Yeah, I don't know if it is. I think according to Jeff, that's where I think they might have gotten their start. But either way, they are printing coins on silver dollar or silver metal, gold metal, and then maybe some other versions of it. And some of them have, cool IPs, whether that's Harry Potter or Star Wars or something like that. And they're not normal shapes. They're not like a circle. They're not all square. Some of them are like die cut looking of like the scene that it's depicting. That is like the closest thing for me to be able to say, jam. Those coins are kind of cool. Like to go and look for a quarter in grandma's sofa or a $50 in grandma's sofa and hope it's like a, Ben Franklin or JFK.
$20.
It's like, I don't know if I would care enough to go and look it up, and I should, but there's just something about it that's like, I guess it's maybe like hard for me to wrap my mind around why I would look up anything, because I feel like the odds are so slim of finding anything of value. At least that's kind of what it sounded like to me. Unless, I guess my overall thought is, if it's rare and or valuable, I'm probably going to know what it looks like. Like I could probably tell if it looked completely different than every other coin or dollar. I know that's got some value to it.
Mm.
But everything else, I feel like it's like, oh, you got to get out a microscope. You got to start like really inspecting like the tiny difference.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's worth like a few bucks more, or maybe
just
not
legitimately like a few bucks.
Yeah,
more.
Exactly. It's like, maybe there are things that are like, oh, that's $100,000 more if you found that. But I didn't hear that from Jeff. So I don't know. Like if that was the case, maybe there are things like that I would want to know more about, but I didn't hear it. So it's
you're not going to get rich overnight collecting coins.
It doesn't sound like
a normal person. Again, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I don't think like you can just go and enter this hobby and be like, oh, this is what I'm going to base my retirement around. It's going to be fun, and I'm going to be building my net capital. I mean, granted, you technically kind of are, because it is money. I mean,
yeah, but it's crazy.
It's the hobby that we all do, whether we want to or not, because we all have to make money and spend it on things.
Some people have hobbies that have no upside to it whatsoever. They
exactly,
collect
100%. And there's,
I don't know, blades of grass or rocks or.
If you find someone who collects blades of grass, I want that person on this podcast right away.
I'm sure there's a botanist out there that collects blades of grass.
That I'm not saying you're wrong. It would be very interesting to find out. All right, so we have like 10 minutes left before we run out of space on this hard drive.
Let's wrap it up.
We got a few things to go. Real quick, DC Sports, the consignor to the stars, as they are known everywhere, not as the consignor of less perverts, is I think the way Mike put it on the SCN podcast. So, and apparently, according to Tori, who works at DC, he said he preferred that slogan over consignor to the stars. So, you know what, Zach? I'll let you deal with Tori. I'm going to continue with consignor to the stars. But they have had a rate change, which is excellent for everybody who's listening to this, because anybody who uses them is now going to be able to get on any card valued between $25,000 and $5,000, $25 to $5,000. There's an increase in rate payout. So if you sold a card between $25 and $500, it used to be that you'd get an 85% payout. That is now 87%.
Oh, baby.
Which, here's the thing. If you're thinking about like selling your own card, eBay takes 13%. So you right there, it's already, any card that you have that's worth $25 and up is 100% worth it. Not only for all the other reasons of like, hey, you just send it to them and you set it and forget it. I would still pay extra on top of that to be able to do that. But now it's like, oh, well, now I'm paying 13% either way, but now I don't have to worry about it and it gets more eyeballs. It's a no-brainer to me. So
easy peasy.
Then you've got the cards that are worth between 500 and 1,000. That's now a 90% payout from 86. So it went up 4% there. And then any cards between 1,000 and 5,000 are now going to have a payout of 96. So it went up from 92 to 96.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
eBay's still going to take their percentage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
So there you go. DC Sports, Consigner to the Stars. Phantasmal Flames, the set to fix the market is how you presented this to me when you first talked about it. Tell me more. What do you mean by this?
If you guys know that last weekend was Pokemon Mega Evolutions Phantasmal Flames release week, basically, because there were so many people that got the set before the 14th, which was the technical release date.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing so much of this product in the wild that it's almost, when this happens, people, when they see product on the shelves, they think it's not valuable.
Yeah. Oh, I would say the same.
And so I think this product is going to fix. We all know that some cards are already down because of the time period and the holidays and everything else. But because of this product, I think Pokemon is doing a really good job pumping it out. And it's a really not a short product, but it's not a big set.
Okay.
The only chases are basically the 2 Charizard cards in there.
Okay.
And I think this is going to be a set like 3 months down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, the SIR Charizard is sitting around 800, 750. I think 2 months down the road, it could be possibly a $400 card.
Really?
Because of the pull rates and so much of this product being out, that I think it's going to be favorable to everyone that's actually collecting it to be able. I know that Costco is supposed to be getting the Charizard UPCs hitting as well, and that's going to be crazy at $89.99, which is insane. So
here's the question: by saying fix the market, are you saying more in the sense of fix the market because more people are going to be able to get their hands on it?
More people are going to be able to get their hands on it.
But ultimately, if that's the case, doesn't that drive down price?
Yes.
And that's okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. That
is fixing the market for me as a Pokemon collector, that I can now purchase cards that I actually want and a decent value. The scalpers will move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
They'll start collecting half-cent wheat pennies and other things.
Double your money, baby.
Yeah. So I think that I think this is going to fix everything.
Okay.
I really do. And then we have another set coming up, but the more stuff that they pump out, the more things are going to become stable. Things are already too crazy. And I know that we're running out of time, so I wanted to get you guys' perspective on this. So TCG Player, whenever a new set comes out, they do a kind of an experiment on pull rates. They open up 5,000 packs. Yes. They open up 5,000 packs and they kind of see what the pull rates are. So
that's cool.
For the Phantasmal Flames, a special illustration rare is one and out of 80 packs. You'll be able to hit it. Okay.
Okay.
If you want a specific one, it's 1 out of 400 packs. So if you're chasing that Charizard,
you'll find one. You'll basically find one of every SIR in 400 packs. Okay.
Correct. Compared to the Mega Evolution set that just released, a special illustration rare is 1 out of 101 packs.
Okay.
If you want a specific one, it's 1 out of 1,008 packs.
That was for which product?
Mega Evolutions.
Okay.
The base set that we just had.
The one before.
So compared to Prismatic Evolutions, all right.
Yep.
If you want a specific one,
this has got to be through the roof.
Is 1 out of 1,400 packs.
1 in 1,400 packs.
1 in 1,400 packs compared to the Phantasmal Flames. It's 1 out of 400 packs.
Wow. Okay. So what's 151? Do you happen to have it?
I can pull it.
Because here's my question is, why is that Sunbreon not, well, I guess it is more valuable, actually. Yeah. It's more valuable than the Charizard that's in 151. I guess then why is the 151 product still more expensive?
Because there's more, it's getting harder to find. It's
even though they're about to release more of it at Sam's Club tomorrow.
It's literally tomorrow.
Yeah.
Specific special illustration rare, 1 out of 225 packs.
Okay, so
that's even more favorable.
Yeah, you have better odds in 151. And don't get me wrong, I love 151 for a lot of reasons, especially because it's the original.
The nostalgic reasons.
The original 151, the nostalgia of it is very appealing to me.
There's great cards in the set. There's not just one card that everyone is chasing.
So I guess it's beyond rarity in this case that is driving the value of that set. And it's the fact that it is the most memorable and iconic characters. That's got to be the overall value statement for that product, as opposed to Prismatic, which you have like the EVs, which is a very popular character in the multiple evolutions. And the Sunbreon version of that card is still well over 1,000, maybe 1,500. Hopefully it's still in the 1,500 range or so. But that does make me feel a little bit better based on pull rates, based on what these cards are actually, like the SIRs are actually selling for. Okay, so Prismatic is still ultimately just the biggest pain in my butt I've ever had, because I've spent so much money trying to pull one big card and haven't gotten any decent SIRs out of it. But that now makes sense as to why, because of those rates.
Yeah, and I don't know what the God Pack rate is, but there's still that possibility of you being able to pull a God Pack.
That's true too. Okay. Phantasmal Flames. Good to know. The only other thing I had on here was just two quick notes. Since we're still on Pokemon, there was a record sale for your Tekno Mewtwo, the Topps 2000 Topps.
Not
Chrome.
Mine.
Well, just you love this card. You have one, right?
I don't have the Mewtwo.
Oh, you have the Mewtwo. Who do
I have
you
a Pikachu.
So I wonder if which would outsell, the Mewtwo or the Pikachu?
I think the Pikachu would probably outsell if it was in a 10.
Really?
Yeah.
What's yours in?
I don't remember. I think it's an 8.
Okay. So Mewtwo Topps Chrome from 2000. It's the Tekno version of this, sold for $21,000 as a PSA 10 here in this last week. So cool to see a new record for that card. I think it's cool that you were already high on the Tekno. We recently talked about it, and now we're seeing others. All
those cards are really expensive. Like, I don't think people.
Well, it's Topps Chrome. I think that I honestly I've said this for a while now. I think Topps comes with a premium. I think you're paying for more than the IP, more than the card itself. I think people are associating Topps with the brand that's going to be around the longest when other brands fall off, when there's less interest in like a company maybe like Leaf or Upper Deck or Panini. These are going to be ones where it's like, I have some of those, but the household name associated with cards is Topps. And to have Pokemon. But that's the thing. You have Topps and then you have Pokemon, which is anybody knows a TCG, they know Pokemon. So you put them together. I think that's honestly, I feel like that's probably one of the best investments long-term for Pokemon.
I agree. And I have my eyes on a couple auctions on eBay for some Teknos. And again, the Teknos is 1 out of 15 packs and they don't make them anymore. Man, could you imagine if Topps made Pokemon again? Like set? That would be insane.
BJ Kroger, you're familiar with this redhead. He says his theory is that there's going to be like a 25th anniversary of when Topps put out this set or something like that. He has no proof of this, obviously. I have never heard that at all. I've not heard even.
When is the 25th anniversary for Topps?
Well, that Tekno was 2000, so it must have been now. I mean, it would have to come out now, unless they put it out next year and call it, for the anniversary last year type of thing, which they've done things like that before. But that being said, I think we would have started to hear rumblings.
Well, next year is the 30th anniversary of Pokemon.
So maybe they do it for so just the 30th anniversary overall
of Pokemon. Yeah.
So maybe they do it for 30th anniversary. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, here's the thing. That's an expensive product right there, baby.
Could you imagine?
That's an expense. I mean, we're talking.
If they just kept everything the same, like just the 3 different rarities, the Spectra, the Sparkle, and the Chrome.
Yeah.
That'd be insane.
Well, time will tell. If we hear of anything, I'll let you know. The only other product is just to tease you guys, because I have no additional information, because the information I had is incorrect. There's going to be another WWE product, hopefully this year, which I know many of you have been expecting. We thought we were going to have more than what we've seen so far.
Is that not coming out? What is it called? The Cosmos or whatever?
It's the 2025 Topps Universe WWE. The note when I saw it said November 17th. Now that was just in their notes. And I'm not really familiar with the person who posted it originally, so I can't say. Maybe they just got it wrong, or maybe they're not really reliable with their dates or not. the date said November 17th. That's today. And it was at like 11 a.m. Eastern time or Central time. I was on there. Nothing happened. I've gone back. You can still find 2025 Topps WWE Universe on the site. And it just says pre-order coming soon. So we'll see.
You haven't.
I've not been solicited. In fact, I messaged my rep, which, hey, buddy, haven't heard from you. Just hoping you respond back. I love you. Please love me too. I asked him if we're going to get some, and I didn't get a response. So
hope he's okay.
So I'm sure he's doing just fine. He's a very busy man. That's all it is. So anyways, that will be at least coming. So that's exciting. We just don't have an exact date yet.
That's crazy. What a tease.
What a tease indeed. So all that being said, that has been your show. Next week, I will be out, but great news. We've already pre-recorded it for you. There's going to be an episode where we cover Lego in great detail, but also I find it to be very entertaining. I felt like that was a really fun interview, and it left me to the point where both Ray and I were like, oh man, we have so many questions, as he would mention things that piqued our interest, which was a lot of time. So looking forward to our interview next Monday or next Wednesday when that releases. So other than that, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry I took up all the time. I'm trying to close it out before the recording time ends.
You're good.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.